In December of 2012, I received a certified letter, and it was a termination notice saying that I perhaps used marijuana on the premises of a Section 8 housing. And so once I got the termination letter, I had to submit paperwork within 10 days saying that I contest to their termination.
What is your injury?
I broke C1, C4, C5, and exploded C6. And I'm considered a tetraplegic because I have use of my arms, but not use of my hands. But I quadriplegic, if you will, because tetra doesn't really make sense.
Cannabis makes your life easier?
Yes, it does.
Awesome. Why do you use cannabis?
It helps with my pain. It helps slow my mind. It helps me be a better mom. It helps me focus on the things that needs to be. And my spasticity is gone. And when that's gone, I have more energy to put towards my son, to keep up with him. I have more energy to keep up with him. I had gotten my red card by a doctor after being recommended cannabis for my medicine, and it works way better than the pain medicine that I'm prescribed by my doctor. So after I got my red card, I felt that, I was legal. It was legal in the state, and it did come out of pocket. It wasn't paid by my insurance company like my other narcotics are. And so they say to put every medical receipt and everything that you pay out of pocket in your receipts. So I turned them in, and I wasn't thinking at all when I did.
So you turned in your receipts for your cannabis medication along with your other receipts for...
Yeah, I turned in my cannabis receipts along with all of my medication receipts. I see. And that's when they had reason to believe that I was using marijuana on the premises, so that's why I received a termination notice.
So they were going to kind of kick you out of your home?
Yes. So I got a hold of the executive director there at the Housing Authority, and he told me that they would just proceed as I was doing before, and that they were still working on this with the new memorandum just released by the Department of Justice, with saying that it was a case-by-case situation with the Housing Authority regarding medical marijuana, since it was still federally illegal and a Scheduled I drug. Well, I called the executive director right away, and I talked with him. His name is Michael Reese, and I talked with him, and he said, to just keep proceeding as I was, and they would figure this out. And they weren't sure where they were going to go with this yet. And I then had a reevaluation at Craig Hospital, where I have to get reevaluated every 2 years to see how I'm doing, medically wise. And so after I called Michael and I talked with him, and he said that it was okay just to proceed as I was doing, I went to Craig Hospital and did my reevaluation, and then I was called up, and they had to go along with the protocol. So the protocol was still to have a hearing, and I still had to go through everything. And now I had two things to worry about. I had to worry about every appointment I had to make a reevaluation, plus where I was going to go or what I was going to do. And that's when Boulder Weekly contacted me, and Elizabeth Miller was so kind to drive up to Denver, where I was staying at Craig Hospital, and do an interview. After the Boulder Weekly came out, I was contacted by a few people, a few lawyers, and I really connected with one. And after I called him, I told him, I had talked with Congressman Polis, and I had also talked with Congressman Gardner, and he was sympathetic in my case, but, still he couldn't do anything about it because it was under federal law and then the housing's discretion. So after I talked with Jeff Gard, I knew that he was going to be the one, and he was going to take on my case pro bono, and he was one of the sweetest men I've ever met. He's a good friend to have and a lawyer to look up to. And so when Jeff Gard, he wrote me and said that everything was settled, and he gave me the letter from the housing authority's lawyer saying that it was settled, and then he offered a press release. And I have that press release too. I can give you a copy of it.
Excellent.
And it was the first case won ever in the country of an MMJ patient.
Now this sets a precedent for all other disabled cannabis patients, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So your housing situation is secure?
Yes, it's secure, and I'm able to live here and stay here and raise my son.